You're right, guys, and welcome to the latest episode of Muscle Owl Talks. I'm here with Vivek.
Hi, everyone.
And yeah, we just thought we'd do a special episode of Muscle Owl Talks because there's been something going around the community, a post which, we love it when people sort of ask questions and get discussions and debates going. But this is one that's caused quite a bit of controversy. And I think one that we, reading it, feel very strongly about, right?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, so, for people who don't know, my name is Peter. I run Muscle Owl. My brother has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. My brother, Andrew, is 25 years old. And Vivek, you have Duchenne?
Yeah, and I'm 27.
So this question was put about by a man named James. He said, polling Facebook, if Duchenne was known as children's muscular dystrophy or pediatric muscular dystrophy, do you think people would want to be more involved, like actors and sports professionals? Seriously asking. So we see this, and this is something that we've seen time and again, and it always comes up, and I'm never going to have a go at anyone for asking that, because my personal view, I think, let's just start. We've written some notes. First starters, yes, probably, yes. The lamentable thing about our society, our world, is that people care infinitely more for children than they do for human adults. So yeah, that's the nature. I worked at Muscular Dystrophy UK for many years, and this is what charities do. Charities will use children more to kind of promote and get people to give money. You agree?
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But our views are in absolutely no way whatsoever on many different levels, for many different reasons, should we ever consider this. I don't know, Vivek, do you want to open up about how you feel about that idea?
Yeah, well, I think I do see like the idea that it's not a completely negative thing, but I think it's a very confusing thought, and it's hard to kind of categorize Duchenne in adults and children, because the children now, they are going to grow up in adults, so it's kind of doing a disservice to them in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we can start with. The idea of, should Duchenne be known as children's muscular dystrophy? That's a complete misunderstanding of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Sure, you might be told the archaic ideas of children don't live past their teens, or that this is going to happen or that's going to happen. But on the whole, people with Duchenne now do live into adulthood. There are more adults 16 and over living with Duchenne than there are kids 16 and under. So if you're going to take a condition where there are actually more adults and call it children's just for the sake of trying to get people to act more interested, then that's quite a worrying thing. That's making the condition something it's not.
It's breaking it up when it shouldn't be, because we should all work together really for this disease, but society shouldn't have to just use the kids just to get the money, really.
Absolutely. I think it's important that all stories are told. People here have said, we're looking at comments here on my other screen. I can see there's comments, people saying, people have to understand how hard this is for children. But if we're making it into just something we're talking about children, Vivek, you can talk about how hard it is many times and for many different reasons for people living as adults.
Yeah, because let's start from being younger. I used to kind of look forward to having the wheelchair because I can rest. And then growing up, and recently, what happens when you're an adult? I've stopped being able to swallow, so I don't eat. I use a feed now. Can have my ventilator on in the day and at night, and even talking sometimes gets very difficult for me. So as an adult, there's a lot of challenges that you have to face, which people don't really see. They just look at, oh, this young boy can't walk. Whereas there's a lot more that happens when you live with DMD. You just have to live with it positively.
I would say that it's already this way in many respects, and I would say that it's a fool's game, because what we're looking for is we get children who have Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and what we want to do is we want to cure it. But you can't just reach a cure like that. So you get treatments, and first treatments are coming through now. And treatments have been coming through for years, like steroids that many adults have used, and it's benefited them and allowed them to live into adulthood. Various different things, physiotherapy, hydrotherapy. And these have maybe in some ways, you've got them in as children, you've raised money on the back of them being children, and you've got people to grow into adulthood. You've not really thought through, okay, what do we do now? And it's too late by the time people get there. So I see a society oftentimes where we're looking to cure things, we're looking to thinking about children, but we're looking to extend life. And when we extend the life, when people get there, we have a society that isn't ready because we've not made it right. We've only been thinking of people as children.
But it's just sabotaging the positiveness of working together as a charity.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, that is the trouble. If you have a child with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, if you put money into treatments and everything, and things do work out okay, they're going to be an adult with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And I mean, regardless of whether you do that or not, and anyone who has a child with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, it's more likely than not that they will live to be an adult with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And then what are you going to do? You've changed the nature, you've changed the understanding of what Duchenne muscular dystrophy is. I know people who their child's been diagnosed at 4 or 5. There's been big campaigns, and there's been a big emphasis on this is a child with fatal condition, terminal illness. And not that there's anything false about any of those things, but those parents have then been asked months down the line, not always years, but just months down the line, oh, is your child still alive? And it's like, well, yeah, of course. And obviously, oftentimes they're offended by that. But the reason people are asking things like that is because it's put across as something that affects a child, that a child will not live into adulthood for. And that is something that's Duchenne in the 1960s. That's not Duchenne in 2017. And if you start selling it as that, then it's going to have really negative consequences.
I think spreading misinformation is very dangerous. It's sabotaging the future of, like, this disease is quite a difficult disease. We need to work together and help each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when do we talk about childhood? Because here's the worrying thing that I see oftentimes, and this is not always going to be the case, when parents have a child and they're diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, they'll focus on that age group. But then the child will move through the age groups and they'll start to shift their focus. And that's fine. And that's fine for the core group of people and fine for the secondary group because they can adjust that. But society at large, society as a whole, has already shaped their definition of what you did in the first place. So this very guy, 10 years down the line, will have however old, but adult son with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and he'll suddenly want to start playing a very different game. But the influence that he will have had on society, he will have painted Duchenne muscular dystrophy to be one thing, and then all of a sudden he'll want people to start seeing it as something else. And it doesn't work like that.
Because I found that when I look at it, there's difference. Like, you see children's DMD and adults, you see the difference. But it's just terrible that there is a difference.
Oh yeah, I mean, but there's no difference. Like, Vivek, you didn't wake up one day and you were adult with adult Duchenne. No, And this is the thing. There are. I mean, my brothers has people who are also 26, or also, pardon me, also 25, and are in better health than him. Some are also 25 and are in worse health than him. So you can't just go, okay, this is this is that. And I mean, I think there's already vast confusion about the condition. If I just scroll down here on my other screen, I saw somebody talking about, it's only some lucky ones manage to live to adulthood. And can we just get something clear? The average life expectancy for someone with Duchenne muscular dystrophy is 28, 29 years old. At present, that's for somebody who was born 28 years ago. Somebody who's born today has every chance of living to the age of 40, 50, onwards, who knows. So this is very worrying. I mean, I remember having a sort of discussion with a lady a few years back, and her child had just been diagnosed, and she said, no, most children will die at 11, 12. I said, well, no. And she's, I know, people live to whatever age. And she said, oh, only if they're very lucky, they live to 28. And I'm like, no, that's the average, so it can get so futile when it is spoken about as just a childhood condition. I mean, if we talk about DMD Pathfinders, John Hastie's 36 years old, Mark Chapman's 47, going on 48 now. So they both have Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We know men in their 50s with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And it's a huge disservice to those men to talk about this as a childhood condition.
We don't want to leave an important part of the disease out.
No, absolutely. In fact, if I say to you, Vivek, sorry, I got too into this. If I say to you, Vivek, I think I wrote down in some notes here, it sabotages the perception of the condition, and then what does it imply for adults? Or rather, what does it imply for the children that are living with the condition, who then grow into adults, because we know they more than likely will at this point with the treatments we have? What does it make them feel? And this goes back to what we've discussed in previous episodes with you, Vivek, as to you always, when we had our episode on life expectancy, people want to check that out. You said that you always were told you'd have a lower life expectancy. And when you reached that age that you think, oh, I'm going to die now, all of a sudden you look for meaning in life.
Yeah, well, I was growing up because when I was growing up at school, and I didn't really try that hard at school because I was thinking that there may be no point and things like that. So it kind of made me not expect a lot of myself, that it doesn't matter. But when I grew past it, I realized
it's kind of like someone not getting a retirement plan because they're like, I won't be here. Then you are, and it's like, Vivek, go get a job.
It changes your perception on your life, that maybe you're not as important, or you're never going to be useful really in society.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like, Vivek, you still want treatment and want to be able to live healthy as much as any kid with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. This is the thing, it's not like all of a sudden. So when we get these treatments, say we get the treatments that people want, do we then just change it back all of a sudden? Okay, we don't care about kids now. Or are we just changing it back because all of a sudden the kids that you've funded, they've grown up, so you're not really concerned about other things? Are people just looking out for themselves here? And I think this is what people have to ask themselves, anyone that purports this. You have to ask yourself, am I feeling this way because I've got a child with Duchenne and I'm a little bit annoyed that I see childhood cancer and other things like that? Is it because of this? What if my child was 16, 17? Would I still be thinking this? And I think when you really address that, that's when you can really get to the point of whether you think it's a good idea or not.
Yeah, and I also used to, when I was growing up, I didn't look forward to my birthdays because I didn't really, I used to count, it's like counting the years to my death, which was quite difficult, really.
You're 26 and you're still here, Vivek. I bet you're really annoyed.
I was. Got really surprised, but then I realized that I need to put some effort into my life and
Mm,
kind of help other people with Duchenne.
mm.
And,
And how much of an effect do you think that was due to you being told this is something with your life expectancy, this is something of kids don't live to adults?
I think it does make you feel like there's no point.
Mm,
But once you reach that age, then you realize there's a point that I've done a lot in my life. I need to kind of enjoy it.
mm.
It's kind of a bizarre kind of feeling.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I just had a final point for this, that the question was, could we redefine Duchenne? Could that be known as children's muscular dystrophy? And this is very, very worrying, because if this is somebody who's getting a lot of comments and a lot big in the community, are they not aware that there are 60 different types of muscle wasting conditions? And that Duchenne muscular dystrophy, as much as, I mean, Duchenne has been much of my life. I mean, my brother has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We're super close. We live together. So, but are they not aware that there are so many other types of muscular dystrophies, and that not all of these are just things you get when you're 30 years old and then you end up dying at 50. I mean, SMA type 1, spinal muscular atrophy, a type of muscular dystrophy, yeah, average life expectancy about 2 years old, congenital muscular dystrophy, where most people will not walk throughout their whole life. And, you know, there are some forms of congenital muscular dystrophy that can be very, very, very severe. Limb-girdle muscular dystrophy, that I know young boys with certain types of limb-girdle muscular dystrophies that affect them in a very similar life stages to people with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I mean, I'm just picking out very easy names here. You know, it's not like I've gone to, you know, wide-reaching different types of muscular dystrophies. It's very easy often when a child is diagnosed with Duchenne to say, oh, why me? Or to say, you know, I wish he'd had this type of muscular dystrophy, or I wish it had been that or that. So let's create this as the worst type. But it's very important that we realize that there are so many different types and that we respect them all in the proper way. No?
Yeah, because it's like when you're in a bubble of Duchenne, like you think even Duchenne is the only form of muscular dystrophy, which is very harmful, because you need to think about other people. You need to think about the greater muscular dystrophy, because everyone's important, regardless of their age.
Yeah. Absolutely, Vivek. Absolutely. I'm really glad that we've spoken about this, because I think this is something that relates into a lot of what we do here at Muscle Owl. And we've spoken about things very much connected to this before. You know, life expectancy episodes on how you identify with your own condition, things like that. And I think that this is really important that we get this out there, that particularly for any parent who has just had a child that's been diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. You know, we know many parents who have children with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and it can be very, very, very hard for any parent. But I think it's important that we put this message out there right now and say that your child can grow up to be an adult with Duchenne muscular dystrophy and have a tremendously fulfilling life. And I think that that's really important that we put this out there.
Because we don't want to sabotage the futures of any boy or girl with muscular dystrophy.
Yeah. People don't remain kids forever. Wow. Vivek. Serious episode.
God, that was good.
We'll be back next week, or in a few days' time. Episode that we're putting out is one that's still on the shelf. It's Vivek talking about his trip to the RAF base at Duxford. And how many ramps there were there, and how he could lean his chair back to look at the planes. Yeah, but that's for a serious episode right now, and we hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope we've managed to keep things fair. I think that's important. We're not annoyed at anybody. It's just, I think, often we see these things and we think, no, we don't think it's that way. We think
need to educate people.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You can do the educating, Vivek. Yeah, wonderful. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you again real soon. Do leave any comments below. We really want to know what you feel and think about this. And yeah, check out our website, muscular.com, and have a look at some of our other episodes and tell us which one you like, which one's your favorite. Catch you again soon.
Take care.
Bye, guys.